But sometimes when you're just in a really bad situation, or it seems like it's a bad situation to you, you don't focus on the positive and you don't even want to hear that. You just want to complain because you're just in that state of mind. It's like when someone's going through a hard time and a lot is going wrong in their life or whatever, and then people will tell them things like, oh, well, you know, homeless people have it worse than you. And it's like, that's not going to make that person feel any better at all.
No, and so here's the thing, like, that is very dismissive of somebody's feelings. It is essentially saying to the person, what you're experiencing doesn't matter. So because it could be worse, I'm not at all going to factor that this is bothering you. But here's the thing, and what this is saying about Eugenia is how sheltered she has been and how restricted she's been in her life, whether that was her parents' doing or her own doing, or a combination of, there is restriction. And what I like to think about it is, if you remember back to maybe your earliest memory, maybe you were 3 or 4, maybe you had an ice cream and you dropped it on the... So if you think of yourself at that age, the most traumatic thing is your 100. And so that's your dropped ice cream. Then maybe you go to school and maybe you get bullied a little bit, and now that's your new 100, and maybe dropping an ice cream is now a 75 because it has a reference point that's now greater than it. And then maybe you get into high school and you get dumped by your first boyfriend. Well, now that's the 100, and now dropping an ice cream is maybe a 25. You see how it goes. And the older you get, the more life experience you gain, the more things that happen to you, the greater your 100 gets to, which means it diminishes those smaller things down. And that's why sometimes for people who have gone through a lot in life and have a fair whack of trauma, they sometimes look at, let's say, people who have had relatively straightforward lives, and there's a disconnect between how life is seen or reacted to. And it can be difficult when you are the one that has experienced more trauma to look at these people, you know, crying over something that you're like, yeah, that's a Tuesday for me. But we shouldn't diminish their experience, because if that's ranking high on their threshold, well, they're still experiencing it the way that you would experience that number on your threshold, even though that activity would be far worse for you to experience that. Now, my point being, for Eugenia, if her hair isn't working, where is that on her scale? I'm not saying it's a 100 for her. I'm not. But I am saying that for her, that particular issue is high.